I played an illegal Pokemon game, but actually that's not true. I played 3 illegal Pokemon games. And each one of these games gets more and more bizarre with high quality animations and gameplay designed to steal money from children, so you're gonna want to stick around. So today I wanted to play a couple of these illegal Pokemon games and find out once and for all, 1, why they're so problematic, 2, why Nintendo still hasn't taken them down, and 3, why do so many people play these games? But first, I want to provide some background. On my channel, I love to highlight Pokemon fan games and ROM hacks. So I want to make it very clear, fan games and ROM hacks are not illegal. They're made by fans who are very passionate about the Pokemon franchise and aren't looking to make money off of it. They're just sharing their love for these games. And even though Nintendo will often send these creators cease and desist to stop making them and spreading them around, these games still aren't illegal. The creators haven't broken any laws as long as they comply with the cease and desist. The games we're looking at today are illegal because they're trying to squeeze money out of children using flashy animations, stolen art assets, and really shady game mechanics. Seriously, if you pay $400, they'll give you a shiny Mewtwo. Trust me, just take your mommy's credit card. And you might be thinking to yourself, who in their right mind would spend that much money on a knockoff Pokemon game? But just wait and watch, because each of these 3 games is going to get crazier and crazier, and you might start to understand why they're so problematic. So without further ado, let's take a look at our first game, Ultra Era Pet. Now at first glance, if you came across this game in the App Store, you might not even realize it's a Pokemon game. And technically, I guess it's not. The description for the game in the App Store is very careful not to actually mention Pokemon by name. Instead, it refers to ultra-realistic elf battles and collecting pets. Actually, from the App Store in general, I really had no idea what to expect from this game. But hey, the description promised me really cool battle graphics and a 100% faithful recreation of the original story. Actually, the video trailer for the game is straight up just game footage of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for the Switch. You know, everyone's favorite Pokemon game. What could go wrong? But hey, the only way I was actually going to find out the answers to my questions was by actually taking the leap and playing the game. So I did, and oh wait, the graphics do look a lot like Pokemon, and the loading screens actually look really cool, and holy crap, this is like a fully playable game! The last time I played an illegal Pokemon game on this channel, it didn't really have that much gameplay. It was more just a traditional gacha game. This is a fully playable, essential, just full Pokemon game. And at the time, I was thinking that maybe this was going to be a lot higher quality than I thought. Trainer, welcome to the world of flashing elves. I am the guide of this world, and then I will take you familiar with this world. Please give me a lot of advice. Oh! Okay, well, maybe not. In all seriousness though, I was really surprised. I'm all for an open world Pokemon MMO with 3D graphics. That sounds sick. And at first, that seemed to be exactly what this was. I was able to choose from any of the 9 generations of starter Pokemon. The battles used the exact same mechanics as the games. It seemed to be just a full mobile version of the Kanto games, but with 3D graphics. It really was realistic elf battles and a faithful story. But even though I was really impressed at first, it started to get really weird really fast. The first really bizarre mechanic with this game is that you don't actually play the game. Almost any time you see footage of my character walking around in this game, I'm not actually controlling it. The game auto moves your character for you. All you really do is select which quest you want to follow and the character will move itself. In fact, it does this in battles as well. If you press a button, it'll just auto battle for you. They even had a function in this game to find wild Pokemon for you. It would just run in circles in the grass until a wild Pokemon appeared. I can do that myself. If you think Pokemon Sword and Shield had long cutscenes, this entire game is just one long cutscene. The second weird thing is that the UI for this game is god-awful. Just look, there are 100 things on screen at once and I can barely see the actual game. Talk to Chubby in Pallet Town, Flash Sale, Welfare. They even have this mini-map that is completely useless. It's showing the entire region. Why do I need to see that at all times? times? Why do you have so many buttons that I can't close? It's a total sensory overload. At least when some of the other games we'll play today do a sensory overload, they do so with cool battle animation. This game just decides to have a big scrolling text box in the middle of the screen that you can't get rid of. Even when you're in battle, it's just obnoxious. All it's telling me is that someone else playing the game got a free reward. Why would I want to know that? Why would anyone play this game? Oh, it's because they gave me a free Lucario at the beginning of the game. Okay. So let's talk about this, because this is weird. They gave me a Lucario as a sign-in bonus for playing this game for 2 days. But this is my first time ever playing, and I played for like an hour. From what I can understand after playing a lot of these illegal games, this is a way these companies try to incentivize children to continue playing. Okay, so let's talk about this, because this is weirdly skeevy. I got this Lucario as a sign-in bonus, which is essentially a way mobile game companies try to incentivize players to log in every day. If you do that, you get a bonus. But I got this Lucario as a 2-day login bonus, even though this was my first time ever playing. At first, I thought, okay, that's kind of cool and generous. I like Lucario and it's a very popular Pokemon, but then I began to realize why it's actually very problematic and overall nefarious. Remember, this company's goal isn't to make a good Pokemon game, it's to 1, keep you playing the game, and 2, squeeze money out of you. And one of the best ways to make young kids continue to play your game is to make them feel really powerful at the beginning of the game. What's that? My starter Pokemon evolves at just level 5? Wow, I'm already so powerful. But wait, what about leveling up? Oh, well, the game gives you so much experience candies that you're gonna be 10 levels higher than any of the Pokemon you're actually facing. And to make things even better, we're gonna give you a powerful Pokemon that just happens to be super effective against the first gym. What an amazing high! I can't wait to play this game even more! I'm so good at it! Until you're not. All of a sudden, and all at once, you begin to hit a wall in this game. Suddenly, you can't level up any of your Pokemon because they can't be a higher level than you, the trainer, and you level up really slowly. The pacing of the game begins to drop rapidly as suddenly you're bogged down with a bunch of meaningless main quests. They added a bunch of stuff to this game, like having to go around Viridian Forest and talk to Pidgeys? Why? What's the point of this? Oh yeah, to make it so that you'll pay money. There's even a bunch of weird stuff like my level 20 Kakuna not being able to evolve into a Beedrill because I don't have enough coins? Excuse me? Maybe they're right in calling it Elven Evolution because that's not how Pokemon works. Now, if you really wanted to chase the high that you had earlier, there is a way to get that back. Money. Give us your money. Do you want Mega Lucario? Give us your money. Do you want more experience points? Give us your money. Do you want stronger Pokemon? Well, you can just buy shiny Pokemon for $400. Steal your mom's credit card! In all seriousness, this game is just boring. It really is just watching one long cutscene. And aesthetically, it's just uninspired, just like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were. Of all 3 of the games I played today, this one is easily, by far, the lamest. So let's just move on to our next one. Pixel Unite Dynamax. Unlike Ultra Era Pet, this one is strangely shameless in letting you know it's a Pokemon knockoff. The icon for the game in the Play Store is literally a Snorlax. This game seems tailor-made for the type of people who are going to complain that, ooh, Typhlosion's 3D model doesn't have fire on it. Any game that came after the DS is bad, and you should feel bad for playing it. But the tree graphics! The entire description for this game on the App Store is all about restoring the glory of the GBA graphics, creating an authentic Pokemon world, and of course, a 100% faithful story. Wow, where have I heard that before? And the preview images for this game actually looked insane. I know logically that there's no way in hell the actual game looks like this, but the artwork is still awesome, although it's probably stolen. So if you know any of the artists of any of these stolen assets that I'm showing off in this video, please let me know so I can properly credit them in the description, because I don't really have a way of investigating that myself. Anyways, back to Pixel Unite Dynamax. Well, let's take a look at the actual game. Pocket pixel. Wait, that's not right. So for a lot of these illegal Pokemon games, Nintendo is trying to take them down off of the Play Store. So whenever one of these games gets taken down, they just re-upload it under a different company and a different game. There are actually entire groups on the internet dedicated to trying to track their favorite knockoff Pokemon games and just figure out what name it's going under now so they can keep updating and playing it. It's actually kind of pathetic. But what about the actual game? Is it any good? Well, it actually looks great. Even though it doesn't have Game Boy Advance graphics like it said, it's pretty faithful to the Nintendo DS graphics of Diamond and Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Black and White. You can even choose any of the player characters from those games to play as. Gameplay wise, it's very similar to the last one in the sense that it's a Pokemon MMO, but I can actually move my character around this time, so it's a little bit better. Except this game is arguably much weirder than the last one. Not necessarily in a bad way, just it's weird, you know? For example, one of the first tasks I got in this MMO is to talk to Professor Elm. Well, simple, he's right there, except that's not Professor Elm, that's the Holiday Ambassador. My mistake, it's just that he has the same character sprite as Professor Elm. And this game is full of weird little quirks like that. Almost like it's a Pokemon game you're playing in your dream, everything's just a little bit wrong. The first thing you do out of your home is a Clefairy runs into you and then your rival calls it a Marill. The Pokemon lab is shaped like a Pokemon gym, and the Litten I chose as a starter is a shiny in the overworld, but is normal in battle. There's an entire part of this game where I thought I had reached a dead end, but it turns out I just had to walk on water. Of course, why didn't I think of that? The entire game is just wrong and surreal. The actual gameplay is fine. It's not good or great, but it's passable. I do think it's a little weird how much they advertised having great pixel art graphics, but in battle they're just using the same 3D sprites from the 3DS generation. It also isn't a faithful story at all to the games. It has an entirely new map and plot, which I'm not complaining about, it's just a weird choice and seems like much more work. Unlike Ultra Era Pet, there is a lot more mobile game skeeviness though. While you can 100% capture Pokemon in the wild just like a traditional Pokemon game, all of the actual cool and popular Pokemon are locked behind gacha mechanics. For those of you who don't know what a gacha game is, it's named after gachapon or capsule machines. These aren't as common in America, but you might have seen one if you've ever gone to an Asian mall. Essentially, you put money in, you turn the wheel, and you get a random toy out of it from a group of maybe 6 or 7. It's essentially the same as getting a random bunch of trading cards out of a pack. A gacha game is essentially just that, but on mobile. And gacha games are really popular because it's like gambling, but instead of depression, I get hot anime men. So in this game, I essentially just have a random chance of getting a single Pokemon out of a big group. Now I want to be clear, gacha games as a practice isn't necessarily shady and wrong. Nintendo itself has multiple gacha games that they've made. But this game and many illegal Pokemon games do take advantage of people with gacha mechanics, since A, they don't actually tell you what the chances of winning are, and B, they make it so unless you constantly use the gacha, you're gonna be very underpowered in the game. The only Pokemon you can really catch in the wild in this game are stuff like Metapod and Sentret, while through the gacha you get Eevee or Buizel or Abomasnow. And if you pay enough money and you roll enough times, you might get a Zapdos or Jirachi. And you can see why this is problematic, because this game is already illegal. They're not complying to any federal standards. So they can advertise you getting a Zapdos or Jirachi, but they might make the actual chance of getting one less than 1%. But of course, if you don't want to play the gacha, you can just spend a flat amount to get a shiny Arcanine, why not? Now, outside of trying to squeeze money out of their players through gacha mechanics, this is another game that tries so hard to make sure you make zero progress. See, a traditional Pokemon game is actually a terrible mobile game, because most mobile games have an endless loop. You continually play it or they keep adding new content. But after 10 to 12 hours of playing a Pokemon game, you've beaten the Elite Four and you've probably experienced most of the content the game has to offer. there's not a huge demand for new, cool, and powerful Pokemon, which means you would have no reason to play the gacha. So they try to stretch out the main story as much as possible. There are trainers every 5 feet of this game, and they all have the exact same Pokemon. Did you complete a quest? Well, it's time to travel back to the starting town for no reason. Guess you have to walk all that way again. While recording this video, I spent 45 minutes doing this stupid Farfetch'd quest line where you would go through a forest, find a Farfetch being attacked by Primeapes, and defeat the Primeapes. And you couldn't even catch them! Primeape's a cool Pokemon, but you're just not allowed to catch it because that's a Pokemon you could be spending money on. It's infuriating. Eventually, I just couldn't take it and I quit. I didn't want to spend any time or money on this garbage. Luckily though, our third and final game is actually pretty fun. Pocket Gym Master. And y'all are gonna think this is crazy, but the App Store says it's 100% faithful to the original game. I've never heard that before! Also, this game is completely vertical, so enjoy my beautiful face for the remainder of this video. Now, Pocket Gym Master confuses me deeply, because this game is good? And to be clear, it's a bad game. It's an illegal game. It's trying to steal money, probably install malware on my device. My Android phone burned red hot every minute this app was open. But as far as illegal games go, it's pretty fun. As we've seen with both of the other games I've played today, there's not a lot of thought or effort put into them. They essentially just took a traditional Pokemon game, graphics and all, and made it longer and worse. There was nothing unique or special about them, but Pocket Gym Master has a lot of stuff I've never seen before. Even the actual menu and UI screen is really high quality with art that, once again, may be stolen, but looks really good. Anyways, instead of the traditional Pokemon game or battle mechanics, this one is much more in line with a traditional gacha game, as you can see with my first draw, which was a Squirtle. That'll go nicely with my other starter Pokemon, Kyogre. What? At first I thought, oh, this is probably just their way of doing a tutorial fight. You know, they give you a legendary Pokemon, you can see its really cool move animation, and then after the first fight, they take it away. Nope! You just have a Kyogre for the rest of the game now. Well, this must be like the first game where they gave you a Lucario and hit all the other cool and powerful Pokemon behind a paywall, right? No, it's not. To my surprise, one of the first free pulls I got in this game was a Charizard, and later on I even got a free Dialga and Ho-Oh. After an hour of playing this game, my team was sick as hell. My roster was filled with some of my favorite Pokemon, all of which had really cool move animations that I truly am impressed with. Now, I won't lie to you. I was enjoying this game. The animations are really cool and they're higher quality than a lot of the stuff we've seen in traditional Pokemon games. It's also nice that they give you so many free currencies so that you can roll for your favorite Pokemon. But remember, at its core, this is an illegal game. So I don't want to sound like I'm singing its praises because there is a lot about this game I find just bizarre, strange, and problematic. So let me get into that. First of all, this game is weirdly deserted. Multiple times throughout the game, it urged me to be social and to interact with my other players. From joining a guild where no one ever logged in to using the global chat room, which seemed completely empty. There's even a replay room where you can check out some high quality battles, which I wanted to see so I could see Pokemon that I didn't have use their special moves, but a lot of the replays were expired. Second, this game has a weird obsession with the Pokemon Clauncher, the lobster Pokemon from Generation 6. Like, don't get me wrong, Clauncher's a fine Pokemon, I guess, but this game treats them like they're freaking Gardevoir. Every time I reached a major milestone, here, have a Clauncher as a reward. Oh, did you beat that boss? Here, have a Clauncher as a reward. Hey, we're having a huge event today. We wanted to thank you for playing our game. Here, have a Clauncher. Even one of the times I rolled the gacha, I rolled a Clauncher, and the game acted like it was the second coming of Christ. It's marked as a super rare Pokemon, which is the same ranking as Turtwig or Squirtle, and that just feels wrong to me. Am I missing something here? Is Clauncher really popular and I just don't know about it? Please let me know. And finally, To be brutally honest, the animations in this game are really cool, but 95% of the game is complete garbage. While I like the gacha and I like the cool animations, the actual battle mechanics are garbage. It's just a typical auto fight system. There's absolutely zero strategy or gameplay at all. Not to mention, by the 5th time my Kyogre was using its super special cool move, I was just tired and I wanted the battle to end. It got really old really fast. The main menu also has like dozens of options of things to do, but most of these are locked behind levels, which you get extremely slow. You have the choice of either grinding the game out for hours upon hours to unlock all of the game mechanics, or paying money, which I really didn't want to do. Even when I did naturally unlock some of the new game mechanics, none of them were good. It was either just a worse gacha where you just get items, or it was this dumbass battle tower where sometimes you don't even get to battle, it just says your opponent runs away. Why is that a thing? And then there's the thing you've been waiting for me to talk about, because underneath cool animations and free gachas, every shitty illegal Pokemon game has an ugly underbelly called microtransactions. I don't feel the need to repeat myself and rant on and on about how predatory of a business practice these games are. I feel like I've made that excessively clear. These games only want to do one thing, and that's to separate young children who don't know any better from their parents' money. And no amount of pretty graphics can hide the fact that these games are absolutely soulless. I know that at several points throughout this video I said that I was having a bit of fun with these games, but please, for all that is good, don't play these games or seek them out. These games are objectively bad and probably stole my data, which I should really look into. If you really want to see the animations that bad, all of them are available on YouTube if you look hard enough. And if you really want to play Pokemon on mobile, just get an alternative like Evo Creo or Coromon. Both those games are great. Or if you want an actual authentic Pokemon experience, you can just get something that rhymes with Gembulator. I can't actually say it without Nintendo taking down my channel, but more than anything, just be safe and make sure the young children who are in your life are also safe, and have a nice damn rest of y'all's day.